I think with the case of Trump, there's a much bigger upside than downside. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but the people who want somebody not of Washington, it's serious this time. It's the disconnect between the Republican Party establishment and the Democrat establishment and the people of this country is longer, broader, wider than I have ever seen it.
On the surface, it sounds as preposterous as believing Kim Kardashian will convince people she is the second coming of Einstein. The thinking that Donald Trump, the man who has insulted Mexicans, the disabled, military, veterans, the media, though, to be fair, some of those people really earned that one, Muslims, African Americans, Asians, women, you name it, somehow failed to slap down anybody and everybody connected with the Real Housewives chain. Imagine then our shock this morning with a New York Times article stating that Trump's strategy is to convert, ready, Democrats to vote for him. We'll give you a few seconds to get up off the floor. Let's take this one and more around the dial. Hey, for the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis, host of the McGraw Show from 6 to 10 a.m. Central Time, weekday mornings, McGraw Milhaven. McGraw, good to see you again, my friends. And let's start right there, if you will. Donald Trump getting Democrats to vote for him? Wait, I read that right. But I got to be honest with you, McGraw. I have spoken to some Democrats who said, maybe it's not a bad idea looking at what we have on our side to vote for.
Look, first of all, thanks for the invite. There's no question that some Democrats are actually voting for Donald Trump. In those open primaries, he's getting a lot more crossover, if you will. He's getting some independents. He's getting some new voters. And yes, even some Democrats. But let's not call this the Reagan Revolution with the Reagan Democrats, okay? Normal, mainstream, rank-and-file Democrats are not going to vote for Donald Trump, no matter how many times.
Under any circumstances, no way, no how, couldn't happen.
There will be some, but look, he's never going to get the rank-and-file Democrats. If they don't have an aversion to Hillary, they're all going to come home and line up behind Hillary when it's all said and done. There's no Reagan Democrats coming to save Donald Trump.
I got this because in Massachusetts recently, some 20,000 Democrats gave up their party registrations to vote in the Republican primary, which Donald Trump won. I lived in Massachusetts for several years. I talked to some of my friends up there, and one of them, who was a diehard Democrat, said to me, "Oh, yeah, we did it." I said, "Why?" He said, "We want Donald Trump to win because that'll guarantee that Hillary or Bernie win." I said, "Are you guys really that sneaky?" He said, "Yes, we are." Do you believe in that?
I do believe that there is some. I don't know how you measure that. I know anecdotally, you and I both know that. But also remember this, Ted Cruz, Donald Trump talk about anti-free trade. But so does Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders talks about Wall Street banks and the bailout on Wall Street, as well as free trade being a issue. So Trump, Cruz, and Bernie Sanders, in some sentences, have a similar message.
All right, let's talk about the message here that we heard from Rush Limbaugh, where he talks about much bigger upside than downside in the case of Donald Trump. But the words that he used during his interview on Fox News Sunday was utter chaos at the convention if Donald Trump triumphs. Wait a minute, McGraw, we're already talking about total chaos here. I mean, aren't we already deep in it?
Here's what I don't understand about all of this, Ed. You want to talk about Democrats and where the Democrats go to vote and how Republicans generate Democrats to vote for him. John Kasich, right? What's the knock against him? Democrats like him. So when Democrats like a candidate, Republicans automatically say, if Democrats like him, we don't want him. The Democrats or the Republicans have to come to the conclusion that for them to be a national party, to win a national office like this, they are going to have to get some real crossover votes.
All right, I got about 90 seconds left, and as I said, we always try to play it even on this show, even though some people say that we don't, but we're going to. There's a picture that was tweeted out from a Donald Trump rally that has everybody talking. Donald Trump in Orlando, making people raise their right hands and swear to vote in the primary. They did. There are Holocaust survivors who are aghast at what they saw here, saying this makes them quiver. Looks like the 30s and the 40s. Louis C.K., the comic, has already called this dangerous and has said that Donald Trump is a lot like Adolf Hitler at this point. Wait a minute. Breaks just a little bit here. Are some people just really knee-jerking and using this for their own purposes here, McGraw?
As everything in politics, Ed, yes, there are people who are taking this and running with it. But that picture, you have to admit, is pretty scary looking.
Yes, it is.
And even though there are non-racists, normal people who are fed up with Washington voting for Donald Trump, there's no question that the the bigot class, the racist class, right? All of those people are promoting Donald Trump. So you can see where some 70-year-old Jewish groups are a little bit nervous about Donald Trump. That picture is kind of scary looking.
It is very scary looking, and I've talked to some people who have told me that they're frightened, but other people have said, come on, it's just part of the entertainment factor that we have this year. That in itself is a little frightening as well. Weekday mornings, 6 to 10 a.m. Central Time on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Missouri, McGraw Milhaven. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon. Now, let me ask everybody here. You've seen the picture. You can continue to see this picture. Do you think that the picture tells us the kind of people that would vote for Donald Trump? Or is this just basically much ado about nothing and some members of the media and others making it a big deal? You tell us. We'll talk about it right here. Stay with us. The Hard Line continues.